What's up, Hobby Maniacs? Rob Bear here today with a look at the new 2016 Chaos Supplement, Crimson Slaughter. Now, we already did a review, or kind of like a first look review on the Black Legion book, but we're also going to kind of showcase that one here really quick as well, because we actually have the book on hand, and it isn't something that I downloaded off of my iPad accidentally, I guess, way ahead of time, so that was kind of cool there. So these supplements are, it's kind of G-Dub's new thing. Like, it's a $33 kind of softcover supplement. It comes about 88 pages, give or take, or 80 pages in the case of this one. So it's that true supplement format that we've been seeing here over the past couple of years. Now, what's different about this one is it does contain formations, which is nice because, 7th edition is definitely all about the formations. And it also has some tactical objectives that we hadn't seen in the past either. So those are the very last thing in here. So you got a bunch of, normal stuff here, a bunch of... when I see Slaves to the Voices, I always think about the Dawn of War. Like, when you clicked on the cultists, you're like, do you hear the voices too? And it's just kind of like a little, funny thing that they said. So you've got the Slaves to the Voices section. This is, basically it's just all the fluff on the Crimson Slaughter, who they are, where they came from, what they're doing, etc., etc. And then it gets into, the painted miniature section, then the actual forces, which is, the formations, your warlord traits, the few relics. Of course, none of that stuff has changed, as we've seen in the previews this week here. And then it gets into the missions, where you got some altar war missions and some echoes of war. So, it's interesting stuff. There's some decent fluff in here. I read it before. It hasn't changed much. There's some stuff about the Gothic War, where these guys came from, et cetera, different things. Just some recycled content, some newer content, some campaigns and things that they've done, some tie-ins with Abaddon and things, and then it gets into this section where they show you all the painted miniatures, because remember, this book came out, I want to say, decently after the Chaos Codex did in 2000. I think it was October 2012. So a lot of the stuff was technically new, and they wanted to showcase it off. Then when we get to the first part of the rules section here, you can see you got Warlord traits, Relics of the Crimson Slaughter. Now, none of this stuff has changed. It's all the same as it was in the original book, both supplements. I think it was a hardcover book, actually, that came out, and it was roughly $50. Now you got the soft cover, and it's $33. So things are changing, sometimes for the better. Sometimes it takes a while with Games Workshop. Now over here, as far as relics go, any character in a Crimson Slaughter detachment or formation can select Chaos artifacts. That can select Chaos artifacts. May choose from the relics of the Crimson Slaughter opposite at the points cost shown, in addition to the artifacts from Codex Space Marines. So just like we saw with Black Legion, they can take both. Not like the Space Marine stuff where it's one or the other on the same guy. These guys can actually take both. And why not? Chaos are the 40k fat kids of the universe. They always want everything, and they're not afraid to sit at the buffet and keep eating. So there's that. And then we get into some of the formations and such. So I think it's 6 formations. I could be wrong. Might be 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, it was 7 right there. So the first one's the Ravagers. Now, granted, this, just like with the Black Legion stuff, this isn't going to be something that's going to be game-breaking, that you're going to see, competitively on top tables. It is fluffy. If you do play Chaos, it might be something that you want to mix in, but in the overall scheme of things, it's not going to be as groundbreaking as, like, the Angels of Death supplement for, Warhammer 40k for Space Marines there. So the special rules for this one is, it's basically a unit of Chosen and a unit of Possessed. And universally, I'm sorry guys, but Possessed just suck. Like, I can't say anything good about them. When a Wolfen costs pretty much the same points, and we know a Wolfen is just stacked when it comes to, like, rules and just awesomeness value, you just can't say anything good about Possessed. Like, Possessed have their place. They had their place, back in 3rd edition, but nowadays, they just kind of suck. Like, they could get a rules update and be so badass, but, we just haven't seen it yet. So here's the special rule. If the Chaos Champion chosen from the Ravagers is alive at the start of your turn, you can pick one unit from the formation to benefit from his prescience. For the duration of that turn, you can reroll all failed to hit rolls. So he's basically got a little built-in prescience. I'm not sure what that's going to do, I guess, in combat for the Possessed. Kind of cool, but again, I'd rather see it on, like, Havocs or something, you know what I mean? And then we got the Disciples of Manon, which is 1 sorcerer on 1 unit of Possessed. They really keep pushing these Possessed guys, right? So what this is you basically take 2 dice and you set them up to be whatever number you want to be. And then if you ever roll basically that number, that particular, like, combination, which, whatever the odds are, I guess 1 in 36, particularly, or you know, the average is if you put a 1 and a 6 or a 3 and a 4, that's probably going to come up more than say Snake Eyes. You know what I mean? Even though technically I think they're all the same odds, it's just the way that the dice roll when you roll 2 together, right? So basically what happens is you get a free conjured pack of demons that you get select from rolling a d6 right here. So it's kind of cool, but again, not something that's going to be game breaking, that's going to win you games in competitive 40k, I feel like. Then we got the Brethren of the Dark Covenant. That's a Dark Apostle, a unit of Possessed. Loving the Possessed theme here, guys. I just wish they were better. And 3 units of Chaos Space Marine. And their special rule is Unbridled Wrath. At the start of your shooting phase, Dark Apostle from the Brethren of the Dark Covenant can select a Litany of Rage, or can scream a Litany of Rage, and Bloodshed instead of shooting. If he does so, each other unit in his formation that is within 12 inches filled with Unholy Zeal and gains the Zealot and a Feel No Pain special rule until the start of your next turn. Again, it's okay, but, you know, it's not going to win you games competitively. So it's fluffy. If you have the models, it's definitely worth taking. The Cult of Slaughter is pretty interesting because it's basically lets you take 2 to 3 units of Chaos Cultists and 1 Dark Apostle. And of course, remember, they got the new, you know, Cultist Assault box that comes out. So if you want to stock up on those guys, they're there. The Desperate and the Depraved, units of Chaos Cultists from the Cult of Slaughter have a leadership of 10 while they're within 9 inches of the formation's Dark Apostle. That's actually pretty good because a lot of times you just hit some cultists and they run away. And then the Frenzied Horde, you basically can get those squads back depending on, at the start of each of your movement phase, roll dice for each unit of Chaos Cultist, or in the Cult of Slaughter, those within 18 inches of the Dark Apostle. And this money models are resurrected in the unit. So if they die, it's kind of like the without number kind of thing where they keep kind of coming back and adding to the squad. Over here we got the Lord of Slaughter formation. It's 1 Chaos Lord, 1 unit of Possessed. Loving the theme, wish they were better. 1 unit of Terminators, and 1 to 3 units of Chaos Space Marines. And what that does is Whispered Portents. If the Chaos Lord from the Lords of Slaughter has a Psyker mastered level 1 special rule, he also knows Prescience power from the Divination discipline, which you can also take. I'm just remembering here. You can also take that if you take the Battlestar of Mammon. It's a piece of war gear right here, and that actually lets you roll on the Divination chart. So you might actually have a couple different powers, kind of depending on how you do it here. He can target up to 1 unit from the Lord of Slaughter regardless of range when attempting to manifest his power. So lets you kind of throw it out there pretty far. Again, you know, it's decent. It doesn't suck, but it's not OP in any regards. And then we got the Hellguard formation here, which you can see it's a whole ton of stuff, you know, running right down the line from Cultists to Raptors to Land Raiders to Hellbrutes. And Hellbrute's another great looking unit that I just wish it was better, you know what I mean? So special rule Stubborn, Swarm of Phantasm. Enemy units that are within 12 inches of at least 1 of this formation are neg 1 to their leadership. If they're within 2, they're neg 1 to their ballistic skill. So a little bit harder to shoot at the stuff. But again, at the end of the day, you know, there's so much stuff out there that it kind of doesn't. I mean, it's fluffy. If you have the stuff, go ahead and field it. You know what I mean? The Red Onslaught is a formation, of course, here that's got some restrictions. This is a Crimson Slaughter formation, so you have to be very specific about how you do it. Back on page 50 that we just showed you. So you get basically it's the combination of a lot of these formations that we just talked about. And special rule is Maddening Horde. While at least 1 unit from this formation is on the battlefield, subtract 1 from the leadership of all units in the enemy army. That can be kind of useful, to be quite honest. Demonic Resurgence at the start of each of your turn. Roll dice on a roll of 4 or more. Each unit possessed from the Red Onslaught that has been completely destroyed and is placed in an ongoing reserve. When these units arrive, they do so using the rules for Deep Strike, regardless of the formation they are previously part of. These units do not benefit from any formation special rules. However, they still can be summoned back on the battlefield using this rule, so they can keep coming back over and over again. But then again, possessed, deep striking in without any shooting weapons may not be the best idea out there. So then it goes into the Altars of War and the Echoes of War on kind of narrative events or narrative missions and battles things here. And then in the back you got the Crimson Slaughter tactical objectives, which are new. We didn't see these before because remember these just became a thing in 7th edition, so there they are right there. Check them out. I don't think we'll see cards for them like we did, you know, sometimes they come with the data cards and the psychic powers kind of box there. And then the Black Legion book, we already covered a lot of stuff in this, but here it is. You know, it's got your basically some very similar stuff to what we just covered in the other book, you know, the sections. You've got the tactical objectives, your missions, Altars of War, Echoes of War, your forces, which are going to be your Warlord traits, special rules, and then the formations that came out. No Decurions on either of these. And then your fluff section and your warband section, which is, oh, there's the Planet Killer, which is, you know, a lot of cool stuff in here, like, hey, look at these models, hey, look at these models, hey, look at these models, yay. One thing I didn't show in the iPad version that I did was the Black Legion tactical objectives. So there they are right there. Check those bad boys out. Of course, it's brand new 7th edition right there as well. And another thing to note, just like in the Crimson Slaughter book, you can take both relics, sets of relics from Chaos Space Marines as well as the Black Legion if you take a Black Legion force. It's not unlike, you know, like I was saying with the Space Marines there. So that's it for this one, y'all. I hope you enjoyed my first look, unboxing, and review of the Black Legion and Crimson Slaughter books. Not more of the Crimson Slaughter book than the Black Legion one for 2016.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.